I started seeing messages. I started seeing your messages before I even clicked to go live, so I feel like there was a few seconds of you just staring at me going, "Ugh." So if that's the case, I'm sorry. It was asking me to enter an objective for the chat for our stream, which I've never seen, but it doesn't allow a monetary goal, which is what we have. It has objective for how many super chats you get. So it's a new feature, but it just immediately popped up and was trying to get me to do it. And I think it showed me as being here like with you guys. The video started before I started, before it told me that I was live. So that's interesting though that there's new features. I'm already rambling. Hello everyone. Happy Sunday. I appreciate you guys holding space for me after I had to cancel the last live stream and just move on with this one. Things had gotten pretty heavy. I'll talk about it a little bit more as the stream goes, but I want to say hello to everyone who is returning and welcome to those of you that are new. I'm Amanda. If this is your first stream, this is just the thing we do to check in with our mental health. You can ask questions, you can share where you're at, and we just hold space for each other and we just talk about our journeys and our stories and share our wins and share our struggles and try to raise our energy a little bit through this time. So I do want to say that I am not a mental health professional. So anything that I do say, any advice that I do give is just based on my own experiences in the mental health world, my own experiences with anxiety and addiction and depression, and that of people that I've interacted with. Of course, I do now have a bachelor's in forensic psychology, so I do have some academia behind me as well, but a lot of the stuff I share is my own journey, things that I learned in my process. So we have Tony and Ryan and Rev J's mental health journey, David, Riley, Aaron. Hello, everyone. Happy 2025. We're almost 3 weeks into 2025. I know that things have been quite crazy for a lot of people, myself included. I've just had to take a big step away from everything and everyone, kind of try and get my footing again. So I don't even know where to start. I feel like I'm just going to be really transparent that my social battery is feeling very drained over the past few days. I've had a lot of social interaction, and it's been with people that I love and with for causes that I care about. But I'm just feeling kind of drained energetically right now, and I'm sorry if that comes off, or if I'm rambling, or if I just seem very anxious or very manic. I am having quite a bit of anxious energy. I haven't been socializing a lot up until the last few days. So there was several weeks where I just didn't socialize at all. And then a few days where it's, I have to catch up. And we had our Patreon stream yesterday, and I had several social interactions with friends and stuff. So if I'm coming off as a little all over the place, that's part of the reason why I'm still processing the grief from what was going on. I am just feeling a bit depleted, a lot depleted. I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling a lot depleted. I feel like my bucket is way down here, and I'm trying to add to it. And I'm definitely going to talk about some wins and stuff too, but I'm definitely feeling like I need to recharge, and I'm hoping that we can recharge each other's energy. So I do. Is it now? David says, is now manic Amanda. I still prefer metal Amanda. That would be, I don't even know what the channel metal, or I know channel metal Amanda, what the channel manic Amanda would look like. This probably, where I'm just, So I also, on kind of a health and wellness standpoint, I want to mention that the friend that I was socializing with last night was generous enough to bring these delicious cinnamon roll treats for myself and Aaron and Bryston, and to share with her and her kids. And it was such a sweet thought, but I did not listen to my own body. I did not listen to my own boundaries that I knew very, very well. that sugar and I do not get along. So I really have to pace myself if I do have sugar. And I'm not talking fruit sugar, I'm talking processed sugar. So if I'm having processed sugar, I do have to pace myself. I didn't pace myself. I ended up having a panic attack. I didn't sleep well. And I've just been kind of having that sugar hangover all day today. I don't know if there's anybody else in here who can relate to that. But sugar definitely exacerbates my anxiety, and it's one of the things that I don't indulge in super often. And if I do, it's in very small quantities because I know that it's one of those things that is just not conducive for optimal mental health. So is there anyone else in here that will have that sugar hangover if they indulge too much? I'm curious. So the objective that I was trying to set, by the way, is 250. As always, that goes toward my mental health outreach so I can help people in the community, so I can help our community members pay for therapy or get things that they need. Right now, there have been quite a few different focuses. We have been covering therapy for quite a few people and still trying to solidify the emotional support dog situation. That is more of the shelter is being kind of difficult with different expectations that they have. So we are moving forward with that. It's just there's a lot of red tape, especially since I am out of state for this particular shelter. I've never had this problem before when doing this for people in the community, but this particular state and this particular shelter is kind of giving us some hell. So with that being said, we are moving forward with that, and I will continue giving updates on the community page. I think something really awesome, and I'm gonna shout out Aaron on this one, something really awesome that we were able to do. I'll post a better picture of it over on the community page, but something that we did as a Christmas gift was, I don't know, obviously if you've been here for a while, why is my photo thing being weird too? Everything's being weird today. If you've been here for a while, you realize, you remember last spring, one of my regular dog clients, Ricky, who has joined us on stream. He had joined us on stream several times. He passed away, and his owner, his parent, his father, it was like Ricky was everything to him. They were best friends. It was such a beautiful relationship and such a beautiful dynamic. And when Ricky passed away, I could see that it very much affected him, obviously. And so for Christmas, we ended up doing this dog treat container where people can come and they can get dog treats for their dogs. I'm sorry, by the way, that was probably a little orange. I have a filter on my phone, but it says, "Take one in loving memory of Ricky. May we all have such a love for nature, others, and treats." And I gave this to Ricky's dad. We gave this to Ricky's dad for Christmas. And I've known him for about 9 years. And this was probably the most emotional I've seen him. And now, granted, it wasn't, there's tears and all that, but I could see that he was really, really touched by it. So that was something that we did just as a kind mental health gesture to help someone who was grieving and help someone who has really been close to our family for a long time and stuff, but somebody who really deserved that nod. So we just like to do kind gestures. That's what the pledges and stuff go toward, is just kind gestures to help people with their mental health. Sometimes it's practical, like therapy or supplements or self-help books, stuff like that. Sometimes it is things like this where people can get help getting through their grief. So it really just depends on the situation. We've adopted emotional support dogs, helped veterans and stuff. So that's where the pledges go toward. And so I've been thinking, and I thought it would be kind of cool if from now on, like last time where it was pledges over a certain amount, I was sending books and stuff like self-help or self-development books to help with mental health. This time I actually thought that I would offer this up. So this is something very special to me. You can see, if you're a Linkin Park fan, this is a compilation of different Linkin Park lyrics. So for anybody that pledges $25 or more, assuming that we hit our goal at the end of 250 at the stream, for anyone that pledges 25 or more, you will be kind of chosen at random at the end of the stream, and I will send this. I'll sign either the front or the back if you want me to, and I will send this to you. So it's a compilation of Linkin Park lyrics. It's hung in my office for a very, very long time, but I want to share it with the community and share this energy with somebody who could use it. So anybody that, again, knows my story knows that Linkin Park has really helped me a lot. It was a Linkin Park song that brought me down off the ledge. It's Breaking the Habit that brought me down off the ledge. If you don't know my story because you're new, you can go back and watch my reaction to Breaking the Habit. And I talk about that experience of me being on the ledge, literally on the ledge, ready to jump, Breaking the Habit coming on, me coming down. But other than that, Linkin Park has really just been there for me since I was 16, many, many moons ago, way too many moons ago. And I want to share that. I want to share that part of myself with you guys. So for every person during the stream that pledges $25 or more, assuming we hit our 250 goal, I will choose someone at random at the end of the stream to sign that and send it to. So yes, Amy, music heals for sure. You're absolutely correct. Oh, and if you do want to make a bigger pledge, if you want to make a bigger donation toward the cause, I suggest using PayPal or Venmo, which is in the descriptions, because then it doesn't take a fee. And I have my email up here, so I'll get the notification, because YouTube does take a fee, which isn't a big deal for the smaller donations, but it can add up if you're wanting to do bigger donations. And I want to make sure that those of you that are doing that as much as possible is going toward the outreach itself and not YouTube's grubby little hands. Oh gosh. David says, I like the term fur babies instead of pets. Or indeed, I agree. I think that, okay, we're gonna dive into it. So I did mention this in my last short, but unfortunately a few days after Christmas, our precious Wendy passed away, and it was traumatic. It was in a traumatic, unexpected, completely unnecessary way. And to be honest, I have not been dealing with it well at all. I take that back. I'm going to give myself credit that I have not done anything destructive. I might have spent a little more time on the computer or something than I'd like, but it's doing healthy things, like I'm uploading more things to Poshmark or talking to a friend or something. Well, I've only done that for the past couple of days, but point being is I'm not doing anything destructive, so I'm going to give myself credit for that. But I have really been having a hard time finding my footing again, because Wendy was family to us. She's still family to us. Wendy also had been on stream quite a few times, and she was Scotty's dog. So Scotty was a veteran that I'd helped a long time ago, and he had adopted Wendy and another dog named Chloe well over a decade ago, 12 years or so ago, 13 years ago. And so when Scotty passed away last summer, I ended up taking Wendy, because I always promised him that I would take Wendy if anything happened to him. And he had always said that Wendy was the other half of his broken heart, that they both just had a very checkered past. You could tell that she'd been through abuse. He'd gone through a lot. And I see you over there, Morgan, eyeing me. I think she's going to come over because she sees that I'm crying. She's kind of inching toward the edge. So you might get to see Morgan. We'll talk about Morgan in a minute. But I feel, honestly, like Scotty trusted me to take care of her, and she trusted us. And I feel like I let them both down. I haven't really talked about it a lot, and I don't want to go into details of what happened because I'm not ready, but I'm just feeling grief. I'm feeling guilt. I'm feeling this immense emptiness. The house just feels quieter, even though she's not particularly noisy or anything at all. You could hear her collar when she's eating, but she wasn't a loud dog or anything. She's actually the quietest, most low-maintenance dog on the face of the planet. And I found her. I've been having pretty severe flashbacks and panic attacks as I'm trying to process through this. I've been journaling a lot. I've been trying to hold space for myself, and I read a lot. I did a puzzle. I did a 1,000-piece puzzle in 2 days or so, 2.5 days. But it's been really, really hard to try to come to terms with it. And I know a lot of people here have experienced grief, be it the human type or the fur baby type. But this one particularly is really, it has a lot of layers to it because of Scotty, because we had these visions of Wendy just licking the baby's head when she's born. So there's so many things that were taken away, just these daily comforts and stuff were taken away. And this connection, this companionship, this source of happiness that I feel like, man, I took it for granted. Again, how did I not learn my lesson the first time? There's just been a lot going through my mind, and that's why I had to cancel my last stream, was because it was still pretty fresh. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my mental health update. A win in all of that is little Morgan. Morgan, are you going to come over here or no? She's over there in the corner. She's considering it. I don't want to bother her. She doesn't want to come over here because she's still recovering. But the good news, the win, is that little Morgan finally got her the surgery she needed. So she fell into my lap a couple months ago now. I used to do a foster and rescue all the time. She was chipped to me from the time that I was fostering. So this had to have been 10 years ago or so. She was chipped to me. And I got a call saying that this dog had been turned in as a stray and she's in really bad shape. And they were trying to find her owner. I said, well, I'm not missing a dog, but I explained the situation. And they were going to put her down because they said she wasn't worth the vet care. This is a vet, and the Humane Society said she wasn't worth the vet care to help her get better. I took that very personally because I know what it's like for people to think that you're not worth the time or worth the energy or worth fighting for. I know it's like for people to just write you off or forget about you, not care about you. I know what that's like. And I just couldn't fathom saying, well, nope, gonna give up on you, gonna just let you get put down. So she had stage 4 dental disease, as well as gallbladder issues and some kidney issues. The kidney issues are pretty common, actually, for small dogs. She's a Chihuahua. For small dogs around her age, they think she's about 12, but her teeth were the worst I've ever seen. It was horrible. I literally had tears just seeing these pictures. And she is, this dog costs more than my car at this point, but been raising money and stuff. I've been using my money on Poshmark, and I've had a couple of people that have been very generous in helping with her. So the combination of those things, we finally, there's still vet bills to come, but we were finally able to get all of her teeth extracted. So now she's on wet food only, but I'm hoping she'll come over here and make an appearance. Like I said, I don't want to drag her over here. I'm going to drag her over here. I will be right back.
Morgan, you have to say hi to everyone. You have to say hi.
How does my pillow keep ending up upside down? I'm not sure. But this is little Morgan. She now has this cute little tongue that sticks out after she had all of her teeth extracted. But I think that that's been my biggest win in the last few weeks. She has just been such a source of comfort. The sad thing, though, is that her and Wendy actually had kind of become besties because I think they were just kindred spirits. You know, they felt each other's pain. They sensed each other's past, that they probably had similar pasts of neglect and abuse. But Wendy didn't like any dogs. Wendy never let any dogs anywhere near her. She'd growl. She'd get what my son Bryson would call the dragon scales, where all of her hair would stand up down her back. But she let Wendy share her bed. Or I'm sorry, she let Morgan share her bed. She even let Morgan eat her food. It was crazy. So I know that Morgan grieved too when Wendy passed. Thank you so much, Eugene. I'm going to be old school and write this down because the thing that's supposed to track our our goal does not do so. So thank you so much. I super appreciate it. And Morgan appreciates it with her little cute tongue. Say hi, Morgan. Say hi to everyone. You're famous now. You're gonna be famous. You're gonna be a little doggy influencer. But when we got her, when we picked her up, you could just tell that she was defeated and dejected, and she just kind of given up. She was in a lot of pain. And I find her story to be actually really inspirational because the odds were stacked against her. Nobody believed in her. She had a lot of pain, a lot of clear suffering from her past, but she found love and she found people that believe in her and she found people to be her family. So I think it's a testament to what's possible, that some people are just going to suck. Some people are fucking awful. Like, let's just be real. There are people out there that are going to take advantage of you and abuse you and not believe in you. But there's people out there that will be your family and love you and care about you. Thank you so much, Steven. Thank you, guys. See, you have people that love you and believe in you. You do. You do. Oh. I'm sorry that I wasn't reading messages as much. I will try to browse here and catch up a little bit. Like I said, I've had a lot building. I haven't really talked to people much. And here's a weird situation that I've been in. And I've faced this many times, and I'm sure lots of you can relate to it, is there's so many people that don't know what to do when someone's struggling with their mental health, right? But there's also the other side of that. When somebody asks me, what can I do? And I'm in a kind of dark or bad place, I go, and I panic so hard. I completely freak out because I'm going, I don't know. Thank you, Ryan. We're gonna hit our goal before halfway. That's my call. We're gonna hit our goal before we even hit the halfway point. And I think I'm gonna stay a little bit later anyway, since we didn't have our last one. Thank you so much. Let me make a mark there so I know who's gonna be part of the raffle at the end for the sign. But I have found that it's also very difficult from the side of the person who's struggling. And it's so hard when people ask, what can I do to help you? Because I've been taught that it's uncouth to ask for financial help, so that's kind of off the table. I don't want to say I need money, because I think that's always kind of the top thing that people really need. That's never going to make a situation worse. If you're struggling, at the very least, it can help with a meal. It can help to make something easier, So there's that, but I'm never going to ask for that. So that's always off the table because I feel awkward, But then there's, okay, well, a lot of my friends are at a distance because my childhood friends are back in Missouri and such. I have obviously you guys and whatnot. So I can't really ask for practical help. Like, hey, it would just be really great if you could come make me dinner tonight, or it'd be really great if you could help me clean up, or I just need somebody to take Bryson for a few hours. So there's not the practical aspect. And in situations like this, it was just, I didn't really want to talk. So sometimes talking is really helpful. There's many times where I just need to talk to a friend, but this time I need to reflect on my own. And I was self-aware enough to know that I needed to reflect on my own, right? So I'm sitting there panicking because I'm going, I know that if I don't say something, it's going to make my friends feel helpless. The people that care about me, it's going to make them feel helpless. I definitely do not want prayers, because as I was saying in my last video, I'm an atheist. So to me, that doesn't really mean anything. I appreciate the thoughts and the vibes and stuff, but prayers specifically aren't really my thing. So I'm going, what do I do? What do I say? And I'm actually going to flip the script on you guys this time and ask, what do you think is appropriate response? If, let's say, one of you asks me in this situation, what do you need right now? What do you think is the best response? Like, what do you think the best options are for that? I kind of want some feedback that we can chat about here. Oh, Steven says, couldn't do what I wanted in one. Maybe try a GoFundMe. GoFundMe, thank you very much for, so let me see. Okay, so here's just 20 and then 10. Okay, so I'm gonna say Steven. I have to write down so I can put it in this app that will choose someone at random at the end. So Steven and Ryan. Thank you guys so much. I know, I'm old school. I still have a handwritten calendar, which funny story on that. Aaron, should I tell them about that? But I did it again. I just forgot what I was saying right before that. Oh, for the help and stuff. I'm really curious how other people think about that. Is it something I'm overthinking? David says, I know when I struggle, I hide because the pity and pep talks make me uncomfortable. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. There are times when, let's be real, there are certain times when we kind of low-key want not people to feel sorry for us, but we want people to recognize that we're struggling and feel something, you know? And I think pity kind of becomes the default sometimes. So there's definitely times where I kind of want you to feel something. So if that's the only thing that I guess you can feel, cool. But there's the pep talks. Pep talks are really tricky because I feel like I like to try and encourage people, but I also know that there's a time and a place for it. And not everybody that's in a dark place is going to be able to come out of that in the moment, nor should they. Like especially when you're grieving someone and that grief is fresh, I don't need a pep talk. I don't need empty platitudes. I don't want that they're in a better place or they loved you or they did the best they could or everything happens for a reason or the worst one to me, God has a plan. Absolutely not. I don't want to hear any of that when I'm grieving. So I can totally understand where that's very uncomfortable because yeah, it can be very uncomfortable for me too. Steven says, if you don't believe in prayers, believe in the power of positive thought. Just having people wishing you well may have a positive effect that we do not understand. No, don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't see value in someone just thinking of you or someone, genuinely sitting down to focus their energy, but let's be real. Like, can we just be honest for a second? Most of the time when people say, I'm sending you thoughts and prayers, are you really getting down on your knees and saying my name out loud to your God? Like, are you really doing that? Because I don't think you are. I don't think you're really saying a prayer for me specifically. You might throw my name into a long list or something. I don't know. But I got in a pretty big tiff with a close friend of mine quite a few years ago where I had posted back when I think Facebook was my only social media that I had at this time. It was before Instagram. Yeah, it was definitely before I started the channel or anything. It was quite a while ago. But I posted a thing that says, I won't pray for you, but I will help you. Because I think that, I'm just going to be super honest, I think that saying I'm praying for you is kind of lazy in a lot of situations. I think that it takes away the consideration of, is there anything practically I can do for this person to help them? So sometimes the answer is no. And in that case, if the only thing that you can do truly is to just, sit down and send some positive energy to that person, that is awesome. But I feel like that becomes the default and that becomes the first thing people jump to instead of stopping to consider maybe there's something I could do to really help this person. I feel like it just becomes the default. With that being said, even though I'm personally an atheist, if someone in the community, there have been actually quite a few people in the community or in my circle that have really been struggling and they wanted me to pray with them. And I'm happy to do that. If that's something that's meaningful to you and your mental health, and it will make you feel good for me to sit down and hold your hand while you say a prayer, I'm perfectly fine doing that. But I just think that, number one, I would hope to get that same respect in return. And number two, I'm going to think also is there anything I can do to help? That's always like my first thought is, what can I do for this person? Can I talk to them? Is there some kind of need that's not being met? Maybe I can offer, some kind of assistance or help them find assistance or something like that. So that's where I'm at with that. Hey, Ashley, it's good to see you again. What a quinky dink. I was MIA for a bit too. So I'm going to read the good news story before I forget. I definitely want to I want to transition into some positivity, and I will share that treat container. We're actually finishing it up and mounting it today. So I will share a picture of that over on the community page that we were just talking about. But okay, so the good news, I think this is awesome. I'm going to read the article, but I want to give a little bit of context first. So the FDA bans red food dye number 3 from foods here in the US. And I think that's huge because research has been showing, so before I actually read the article, research has been showing that the connection between these artificial food dyes, including red dye 3, so red dye is kind of one of the big ones, there's a connection between hyperactivity and attention-related issues, particularly in children that have been diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. And I think that being able to take away the things that are exacerbating such issues, I think that's a step in the right direction, because a lot of parents just aren't wise to that. They don't know that. They don't know that there might be that connection, that research is showing that there is that connection. So I think just taking it out entirely, so it's just not even something we have to look for and consider, I think that's great. But there have been research and studies also that it can affect our neurotransmitters, specifically our dopamine, which can massively impact our mental health, right? So that dopamine massively impacts our mood and behavior. So I think it's a huge step in the right direction for mental health. And I don't think the article talked about mental health specifically. So I wanted to share up front why I think that is really helpful to this conversation and this movement, moving things in the right direction. But U.S. regulators on Wednesday banned the dye called Red 3 from the nation's food supply nearly 35 years after it was barred from cosmetics because of potential cancer risk. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, that they banned it from cosmetics, but continue to put it in our food, particularly food marketed at children. What? Food and Drug Administration officials granted a 2022 petition filed by 24 food safety and health advocates. So this isn't like a hippie movement. Not that I have anything against it. I'm kind of a hippie myself, but this is being backed by these organizations and stuff. These organizations had urged the agency to revoke authorization for the substance that gives some candies, snack cakes, and maraschino cherries a bright red hue. The agency said it was taking the action as a matter of law because some studies have found that the dye is causing cancer in lab rats. So yeah, there's the cancer aspect as well. Officials cited a statute known as the Delaney Clause, which required FDA to ban any additive found to cause cancer in people or animals, which makes me wonder why bacon isn't being scrutinized, but okay. The dye, the ban removes it from the list of approved color additives in food, dietary supplements, and oral medications such as cough syrups. More than 3 decades ago, the FDA declined to authorize use of Red 3 in cosmetics and externally applied drugs because it showed it caused cancer when consumed by rats. The FDA is taking action that will remove the authorization in food and ingested drugs. Evidence shows cancer in laboratory male rats exposed to high levels. And that's the thing, is it doesn't take a lot for us to be exposed to dangerous levels to stuff, because it's in freaking everything. It's like sugar. It's in everything. It hides. Food manufacturers will have until January 2027 to remove the dye from their products, while makers of ingested drugs have until January 2028 to do the same. Other countries still allow for certain uses of the dye, but imported foods must meet the new U.S. requirement. So I think that that's awesome. It's crazy to me. It's wild that a lot of these things, I love you too, a lot of these things that are allowed in our food have been banned for an eternity in other countries, that they have banned all kinds of chemicals that we allow in our foods. But I hold on to those wins because it shows that we're moving in the right direction. Hi, Scott. that we're moving in the right direction with these things, that we shouldn't be exposing ourselves to things that can cause cancer or any type of neurological deficits or deficiencies or things like that. This is the live. Yes, you made it. You made it. You made it. Mike says, hello, Amanda. How are you? Hope you're doing okay. I love your channel because it helped me through my depression and mental health problems in 2021. That makes me so happy. If you want the update on where I'm at right now, you can go back and watch this later. I just talked about kind of where I am with my own mental health and whatnot, but I'm here. I'm here, and I have a Morgan curled up in my lap, and she's all cuddled up next to Aurora in my belly. That's still so wild to say. That's still so crazy to say. But I just have two girls right here. Right here. Now I'm going to get emotional going the other way. I was thinking to myself before this stream, I'm going, either the anxious energy is going to trigger you to say something incredibly profound because your mind's like jumping all over the place and you'll land on something good, or you're just going to sound like a bumbling buffoon. One way or the other. You're either going to be really profound or you're just going to sound like you've been on a 3-week wine binge, which I have not, to be clear. Let's see. Yining says, thank you. I've never been a believer personally. I find it really cringe. And I've been dying and in and out of the hospital all my life and nothing's changed. That's really heartbreaking. That I'm sure that there's a lot of emotions that come with that. My dad was terminal and he struggled a lot with the ideas around things like that. And it is harder. I will say, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's harder to not have faith. I wish I had faith. I wish I was a believer, because you could believe that, everything happens for a reason. You'll see your loved ones again. There's some kind of, I guess, goal at the end of the suffering. I don't know. But I feel like it's so much harder when none of it makes sense. When you can't make sense to existence. So I definitely empathize with you in that sense, that feeling like, here I am, I'm here, I'm showing up and I'm trying, and I feel like nobody's got my back. To be honest, when I left Christianity, I was raised Baptist. When I left Christianity, even though I no longer believed, it still kind of came off as abandonment to me. And as someone who later in life, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I learned that one of the big core things of borderline is a fear of abandonment. It really hit hard. It was really difficult to just feel like, wow, all these people in my life have written me off or abandoned me, and now I'm feeling abandoned by a God that I don't even believe in. What is that? Freud needs to psychoanalyze that. So there definitely is a lot that comes with, especially suffering, and trying to understand that and make sense of that outside of a religious context. I hope that you do find peace and comfort as you're traversing this journey. And if there's anything that we can do, obviously let us know. Amy, oh yeah, Amy says, I've struggled with mental health for quite some time, so I've heard every type of pep talk. We just want to be seen. That's so true, where there are times, sure, where I'm just feeling glum, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Amy, where if you're just kind of having a bum day and you're going, I'm not feeling it, there's no reason behind it, I'm not feeling super great, I think that that's the time where it's appropriate to cheer someone up. But if someone is really struggling because they lost someone or something just really isn't working out, it's not that I think that pep talks are inappropriate. It's not that I think that they don't have their place even in that context. But I always say, listen first. If the person is needing and wanting to talk, listen first and try to help, like in a practical way, if you can. If that person is having practical needs, try to help before you just say, well, look on the bright side, gee golly whiz, go watch a sunset. That one's pretty triggering for me, but I feel like we as people who are struggling are never really given a guidebook unless you're in my happiness boost course. Then you are given the step by step. But I feel like the people who care about us also, we have to remember they're also not given any kind of guidebook. So I think that people mean well when they're trying to pep talk. It's just that they also don't have any kind of instruction manual of how to best help people with their mental health. Amy says, I hear you. I can relate. I myself came in specifically for a pep talk a few Sundays ago. Well, I try to keep a balance. I try to keep a balance of, asking people who are struggling here in the community, is there a way that I can show up for you? Would this be helpful? That's another thing is I think that instead of saying, what can I do like for you? I try really hard that if I hear someone struggling, I try to pick up on what's the need that is not being met here? Is it a financial need? Is it an emotional need? Are they lonely? Do they need someone to talk to? And then saying, would this be helpful? And if this wouldn't be helpful, do you know of something that would be? But I always try to offer something up front as opposed to just asking, what do you need? Because I will tell you, when you are in a place where you're really struggling, and you might be having depression, you might be having symptoms of anxiety, it puts you in such a cognitive overload when people ask, what can I do for you? I'm like, just give the gift cards. I don't know. Like, pay one of my bills. Come help me clean. Like, I don't know. I don't know at all. But yeah. Are we ready for wins? Are we ready to do our wins? I feel like the stream's actually going pretty fast, and I don't know if that's because my brain's going fast or what. Odds are, just so you know, my pregnant ass is probably gonna have to pee at some point during this because I just apparently have to pee every 10 seconds now. So I really apologize if I have to end up running out. The water is helping me. It's helping keep me grounded. Like I said, I am feeling pretty heightened anxiety. Water is a big thing that helps me. I soaked my feet right before this in hot water, and Aaron was massaging my head a little bit, and we were listening to some meditation music. So I'm just utilizing the skills in my toolbox right now. But I warn you that I will probably have to pee. Thank you. That was Aaron's way of saying shut up and get to the wins. David says asses don't pee even if they are pregnant. I mean, I don't know. I'm a dope in anatomy apparently. All right. So I just completely oh my god, I forgot the Snap Cup saw there for a second. Yesterday I was doing a Patreon stream and I had said something about Blazing Saddles. I remember talking about how everyone needs to see Blazing Saddles in this generation because this generation has not seen the movie Blazing Saddles, and it freaking shows. If you have not seen Blazing Saddles, that is your homework. I need you to go watch Blazing Saddles. Also, if Mel Brooks happens to be on here, I need you to make a Blazing Saddles 2 before you come out. I need that to be your contribution to this society and to this generation. Please and thank you. But then I was talking about somehow I had this train of thought that led me to talking about TRL. I was the show back in the 90s, Total Request Live, which was the top music videos of the day with Carson Daly. And I completely forgot how I got from Blazing Saddles to TRL and where I was trying to go. And I just sat there on stream going, guys, what am I doing? What am I saying right now? So yeah, I totally forgot. Totally forgot the Snap Cups on there for a second. Okay, so I feel like y'all probably think I'm drunk. I'm pregnant. I promise I'm not drunk. But I feel kind of that energy. I think that it's the sugar hangover where I'm just having that. So the Snap Cup song is just the way we share little warm fuzzies. It's inspired by Legally Blonde too. So I will post over in the community a couple days before and allow people to share their wins so that I can read them here on stream and we can celebrate together. So I was sharing my win about Little Morgan. So let's see what other wins we have. Snap cup time, gather ye round. Friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a snap cup. From crying to laughing, yep, definitely Prego. I'm so glad that you understand the struggle here, that you understand where my brain is at, because not only do I forget things mid-sentence, but I'll go from, oh my God, I want to murder someone, to I want a cookie, to I want to have sex, to I want to murder someone while eating a cookie, to that's kind of where I've been. So I want to cry while I'm having sex and then murder someone and take their cookies. That's pregnancy brain for you. Alrighty. So T. Montgomery says, bit late, and I don't know, this doesn't feel like a win, but I've had someone that keeps begging for people to be in her life to prove they are friends past few years, has constantly done that, then pushes folks away, ignores folks lest she needs comfort, validation, etc. Kind of closed the door on that. Told her it's still open, but she's got to open it, that I can't keep putting up with the cycle. Good for you for setting boundaries with this person. I know that I've been that person at times when I was still in that darkness where I just want someone to fight for me. I just want to know that they care, but it turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy where I would say, well, this person doesn't care about me and I'm going to show them. I'm going to prove that they don't care about me. Like, I'm going to prove to my brain that they don't care about me. Watch this. They're not going to fight for me. And then, of course, because I'm doing this, the person is going, whoa, I can't handle this, nor should they have to. And they end up fulfilling your own prophecy about you not being worth fighting for. So I do think there's a certain level, obviously, of showing up for your friends and stuff. But if this person keeps self-sabotaging, then there's clearly some work that they need to do. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to prove to this person that it's not going to give them the comfort and validation that they're looking for until they start to do that work on themselves. So there is definitely value, obviously, in comfort and validation. But if you're not doing the work on yourself, no amount of that is really going to sink into you. So I'm proud of you for setting those boundaries. I know it's really hard with friends, but I like also that you told her the door is still going to be open so that, she can still come to you, but she has to be willing to do her own work. That's the important thing. I really like in the Odyssey where Athena says, the gods won't help man that won't help himself. I just think that that's really powerful in the sense that I have people that will come to me and I'll say, okay, I have this course that you through all the steps. Sometimes they'll take it and go, I don't understand. And then when I try and explain it, they don't want to hear it, or they'll get the course and then they won't do it, and they're saying, well, nothing's getting better. Well, yeah, it's like watching a Richard Simmons video and then wondering why you're not losing weight because you're not following it, So I think there's definitely a point where you have to say these external things do so much if you're not willing to do the internal work. This one is Scott H8828. I've had crippling fear driving due to a crash I went through during the pandemic, and now, holy cow, 5 years later, whoa. It has been 5 years since the pandemic. That's wild. 5 years later, it hits me harder some days than others, but it's always there. In the new year, I'm going to try and meditate to overcome this issue. So not a win, but a regrouping and some renewed hope. Hope is a win, my friend. That is a win. Having that revelation saying, hey, I have thought of a new skill that I'm going to try, even though it's been a long time. That is a win. That's the first step toward making progress in this. I'm so proud of you for being willing to do that. I know if you email me, I can actually send you a couple of self-hypnosis things that I know of. They're specifically for agoraphobia and stuff like that. So like leaving the house or for driving anxiety and stuff. So if you think those would be helpful, if you email me, I will be happy to email those to you. But that is awesome. And I'm really looking forward to hearing how that works for you. I know hypnosis and meditation can be very, 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 very helpful in kind of, it's almost like a hack to our brain to get through that wall of limiting beliefs that we've set up, that we've created. So I think that that's going to be really awesome for you in being able to work through that trauma, because it makes sense. You had something horrible happen and you don't want that to happen again. So it makes sense that you're having anxiety and being ambivalent toward that. So I look forward to hearing about your progress and your wins as you listen to the different meditations and go through this. Steven says, what else floats besides wood? Bodies? Tony says, after 18 months of virtually radio silence, I'm having considerable conversations with Aiden. Aiden is Tony's son, and they are lasting at least 10 minutes each. Last Sunday, I was finally able to spend time with Aiden, just us, as I took him to lunch for his 15th birthday. Who said he could grow up that fast? Oh, don't get me started on that. Bryson turns 14 next weekend, and yeah, I'm kind of going, So yeah, I don't know how they grew up so fast. Both boys came to the house this weekend. It was my weekend with the boys, which had not occurred since December 2023. To finish the win, about the vet I mentioned earlier, he told me had he not found the group that he would not be here at this time. The 18 months of heavy drinking was to numb the pain from his PTSD. He then told me that he came to the conclusion the day after that meeting that he needed to go to rehab, which he started that Monday after the meeting, that we talked about it, and I visited him every few days. And when I went to visit this past Friday, he was doing really well. I mentioned to him that he needs to be extremely proud of himself. He absolutely does, yes. And he looked at me like I was crazy and asked me why. And my response to him was that the decision to go to rehab on his own, and that he made the statement as the hardest statement to make and the hardest 3 words to say, which are, I need help. That can be such a hard thing for a lot of people, but it really truly is the first step of just saying, you know what? I don't know what to do. Sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know what to do, or I don't know the next step, or I don't know how to get out of this situation, this mindset. So yeah, those words are very, very powerful. I told him that he should be extremely proud of himself for having the strength. After all my struggles with all the deaths of my brothers, so Tony has lost quite a few military brothers in various ways. But I'm saying after all my struggles with all the deaths of my brothers have occurred, I had my first session with my EMDR therapist, to help me through the PTSD and everything else that I have. So I had my first session with him on Friday. It went really well. So big snaps to you. There's a lot of wins in there. I love that. EMDR can be incredibly helpful. I've done it. It did have some benefit for me. I've heard people that have had crippling anxiety or trauma, and it's really, really helped them process that and get through that. I was doing kind of a mix of EMDR and tapping, so EFT and stuff, and they can be very helpful. So I'm so happy for you that you committed to that you went to that session, that you're looking into another modality. I know that you'd said in the past therapy just hadn't really been really beneficial for you, and I can relate to that. So I think that, being open to other modalities and stuff is beautiful. I think the win with this veteran is obviously really amazing, that you were there for them, that you were able to help them, that you helped him see his worth so that he could take that step in getting help. So that's what I was talking about, that it was a collaborative effort. You were there building him up and talking to him and validating him, but he had to be the one to take that step in the end. And of course, getting to spend time with Aiden. So lots of wins. Thank you for sharing so much. Big snaps to you. Oh, Amy says, I didn't have time to submit anything, but this week I've started a new habit to end my day writing in a gratitude journal. Love that for you. Big snaps for you. Gratitude is very helpful. I won't say that it's, the cure-all or everything, but there have been so many days when I'm just feeling like absolute pond scum. And I do a gratitude practice every single day. And there's days where I'm feeling like pond scum. I'm just being really hard on myself. And when I can sit down and my goal is to write 10 things every single day that I'm grateful for. And they can't just be things like I'm grateful for Morgan or I'm grateful for my house. I try to make it specific things to each day, and having to sit down and focus on that and say, okay, it's causing me to think outside of that, right? So throughout the rest of the day, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to put that in my gratitude journal later. I'm going to do that. So when I'm otherwise having a real crap day, it makes me look for the small things, the small wins, the small beauties. So I do think that gratitude can massively help, especially over time. Alrighty. Anthony J. Adventure says, been wild. Has been. Welcome back. Been concentrating on my career lately. Love that for you. Since August, I became a crew leader. Became an advanced crew leader. Monday, I start DOT SEO class to operate truck-mounted attenuators and cone truck. I am sorry, I'm not familiar with this terminology. I lost my dad at 17. I spent most of my life in a masquerade of drugs and trouble. I watched a video about being left-hand dominated and opened up a whole perspective of why I may be the way I am. It literally is the programming of the left-hand dominated right activity brain, and maybe why I get so depressed and worried about stuff that when calm, I act like it's no big deal. I'm finally at 38 realizing that I'm not crazy. I misunderstood. That is such a beautiful revelation. And the ones that stick around in my tight circle are here for a reason, including all y'all who read this. Patience is key. Have a good one, everyone. I have not dove deeply into the whole idea of the left hand dominated right brain activity. I'm familiar with the concept, but I haven't dove deep enough into it that I feel like I could give any kind of meaningful insight to that. But I think that the real big takeaway there is understanding that you're not crazy, you're misunderstood, you're surrounded by people that just don't get it. You're surrounded by people that are looking at you and not able to see the world through your eyes. They're not able to truly empathize. They might be able to sympathize, but sympathizing is where you're sitting at the top of the hole looking down and saying, sucks to be in the hole. But empathizing is when you're able to get down in the hole and sit with the person and feel what they're feeling, going through what they're going through to some degree, right? To really be able to put yourself in that person's shoes. And so understanding that that you are not broken, you're not crazy. This isn't something that can't be worked with. It's just you have to surround yourself with people who are going to understand your needs, your story, your process. Maybe they don't have the same thing, but at least being willing to understand it, right? I gotta put you down, little girl. Say bye, Morgan. Say thank you, everybody. I gotta put you down because I gotta take my jacket off. It's getting really warm in here. I have this on because when I get anxiety, I kind of get cold. So my anxiety kicks up. I get a little cold. That's why I have the jacket on. But now I'm warming up. Maybe that means the anxiety is coming down. But I really love that you're seeing that it's not necessarily completely about you. It's also about the dynamics of your relationships with other people. So you're right. The people that are in your circle are here for a reason to help build you up and help hold space for you through your journey. So I do think that everyone in our lives has a purpose. And it's important to remember that not everybody is going to understand us. Not everybody is going to respect us. Not everybody is going to love us, but that doesn't make us unlovable. It doesn't make us less worthy of that respect and of that care. So big snaps to you. Steven says, have you ever tried 333 for your anxiety? As in the breathing exercise? Is that what you're referring to? RX Doc says, my daughter's 26 years old today. I don't feel like I've had many wins lately, but I try to stay positive. I got some really good fruit from the store yesterday. Yum. I hope it was delicious. I hope you were able to enjoy that. That's what I was talking about with the little things when you can connect with, you know what, I got some really good fruit and I'm going to enjoy that fruit. When you can connect with that, is that going to change your whole entire perspective on life over time? Yeah, it is, because you're looking for that more. And because we have a negativity bias as humans, because we are more prone to see the negative, when we're forcing ourselves to see the positive, that's going to start stacking, and it's going to get us in the habit of looking for that. So I'm very proud of you for being able to connect to that little win of the delicious fruit. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. And don't feel like you have to stay positive per se, but just be open-minded to those little wins like that. Just be open to those and look for those. But don't feel like you have to force yourself to feel something you don't feel. Oh, the 3 objects, 3 smells, and move 3 body parts. I actually had done that in 5s when I was in therapy. So yes, I am familiar with that. Or that it would be to think of a color and find 5 things in that color. Maybe it was because I was always obsessed with the number 5. It's my lucky number. It's because of NSYNC, obviously, but 5 is my lucky number. So maybe my therapists incorporated that. But yeah, for me, it was always 5. And yes, I do incorporate those things in trying to ground myself. The objects, like I said, is usually a color thing. And then the smells, I'll use different oils or coffee beans, things like that. Or I'll go outside and try and identify 3 different smells. But yeah, thanks though for the suggestion for some people that might need that grounding help. This one, this is just a lot of letters and numbers. Like I said, for some reason, YouTube does not display the usernames correctly for me for people who are leaving the comments and stuff. So if this is your comment and you're in here, please make sure to let us know in the chat. But this person says, I'm still alive. If that counts as a win, doesn't always feel like it though. It is always a win because it means that there's still a chance, there's still hope. As long as you're here, as long as there's air in your lungs, you have the opportunity to shift things. You have the opportunity to change everything, really. I mean, my dad always said, don't give up hope because you never know what will happen tomorrow. And that was one of his last pieces of advice to me before he passed. He'd said it before, but I remember him saying it right before he passed. And it really set in that time because it was that I was in a really bad place mentally. And unfortunately, that meant he passed, and there was still a lot of grief and pain to go through. But I've kept that in my mind over the years that when things get really bad, when things just suddenly, flip the switch and everything goes wrong, that means I can also flip the switch the other way and things can go right. So we never know, and we do have a certain level of influence to encourage things to go in the other way. We have more power than we think we do. We haven't gotten any more pledges in almost half of the stream. I want to stay around. We're definitely going to finish the wins. We have to hit our goal so we can do the raffle for this Lincoln Park piece of artwork. And I compiled this, by the way, too. Like, I compiled the lyrics and stuff. So it does kind of tell a little bit of a story. Each line is a different lyric from a different Lincoln Park song that kind of compiles a story. So let's keep getting the pledges in so that we can do more mental health outreach here in the coming weeks. Start 2025 off with a bang, with helping people, and one lucky person will get that signed. I don't know what to call that. It's not a poster. What do you call this? Pregnancy brain again. What do you call this? But yeah, I want that to go to somebody who will look at it and get that hope and that love from it, that will look at it and think of me and think of the community and think of us having their back. So I want that to go to somebody who will need it, somebody who needs that light, because we care. If your light goes out, don't forget. Spencer says, I got a new job, no nicotine in a month. Those are 2 huge wins. I'm very happy for you. As much as I'm happy for the new job, I'm happier for the no nicotine because my dad had emphysema, and I just have a very soft spot for that. And I always get very, very happy and excited when I hear about people quitting smoking and stuff, because I see how much healing that one thing can do. It heals so many different aspects of your mind and body. And I'm happy that you're going to be able to experience that. So I know that there's going to be a lot of healing going on as you continue without that in your system. So I'm very, very happy and proud. Sean says, I have a win. I'll have 4 years clean and sober in April. So I'm very proud of you as well. I love hearing all of the the recoverversaries. So I'm very proud of you. Oh, Spencer says, how do you donate, Amanda? You can either use the super chat or super sticker function. Thank you for asking that, because I don't think I had said that earlier in the chat. You can use the super chat or super sticker function here on YouTube, or if you want to make a bigger pledge, if you look in the videos, in the live stream videos, it does have my Venmo and my PayPal. Actually, David, can you copy and paste that here in the chat for anybody that might be watching? I usually use that for people that are watching later, but if you do want to make a big pledge, you can use that. So either of those are perfect options. Like I said, I have my email here, so I'll see if I do get a pledge through Venmo or PayPal. Spencer says, what is super sticker? Can someone who has made a pledge, because it doesn't show up the same for me, so can someone that's made a pledge tell Spencer how it shows up on your screen to help him? I think it'll just say super chat or super sticker, but I've never been in a stream, so I don't know what it looks like to you. So somebody could explain that, I'd super appreciate it. Ashley, are you still in here? Ashley Carper says, I lived one more day when I sometimes wish I didn't. Well, I'm glad you're still here, because you're a valuable part of this community. I'm always happy to see you showing up here in the streams. I know that you have been struggling here for the previous months, so it always makes me very happy when I see your name pop up on the streams, knowing that you're here another day. I know that sometimes we can go, why am I getting up today? What is the point? Why am I still here? And I think you're the only one that can answer that. You're the only one that can give purpose to why one more day? What can we do with this day? How can I make today count? So I kind of want you to just, excuse me, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I want you to think about how you can make one more day count, how you can make the next day count for yourself. It doesn't have to be for anyone else, but how can you move toward healing? And if you're needing a little boost, if you're needing some suggestions, you can go to my website, amandawebsterhealth.com, and you can download my 28 days of mental healing. That is totally free, and it'll give you things that you can do every single day to move toward healing. So for anyone that wants to download that, like I said, 28 days of mental healing over on amandawebsterhealth.com. That link is always in my video descriptions, but it just gives kind of some suggestions based on my personal experience and my journey. Dandy says, everything is very hard and falling apart, but I'm just dealing with it because the alternative sucks worse. You know what? Some days you're the bug and some days you're the windshield. Some days everything is just going wrong. My yesterday was like that. And it can be really hard when it just feels like the sky is falling on you. But sometimes the best thing we can do is handle it with as much grace as we can. And sometimes that's very little, but handling it with as much grace as we can and trying to triage things and figuring out, again, how can we move one step in the right direction? Because one step is still forward movement. Thank you very much, Spencer. Okay. The YouTube channel, you're silly. Oh, T. Montgomery, I think T left too. So T. Montgomery says, I've been trying to forgive my abusers, my babysitter, her son, their dog, and my sperm donor. Not for them, but for me. Yeah, I can't carry around that level of hate inside me anymore. It's like this thing inside of me killing me, and it's holding me back from healing more. I'm going to clap and then snap. I'm so happy to hear that. It's so powerful when we move into that space of, not today, Satan, not going to do this anymore, not going to continue giving those people power, because it does take time for us to figure out how to process and how to forgive. But once we can, we're taking our power back. So when I've talked about this a lot, but when I was sexually assaulted, it was so powerful for me to say, no, you're not going to live rent free in my brain all the time. I do still have triggers surrounding that, and there's certain things that I haven't been able to address yet surrounding that. But for the most part, it's like it doesn't consume my entire life like it did when it was fresh all those years ago. It's so powerful when we can take that back. So it's not eating us alive, because that resentment will eat us alive. And anytime that we're sitting there and we're thinking, you know what, trauma changes the brain. It does. Like abuse, these things, they do. change the brain. And when you're thinking about that and you're feeling, man, I wish that I could go back to being that person. Well, you can't, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say that. You can't. But if trauma changes the brain, so does healing. So let that sink in. If trauma can change the brain, so can healing. So when you're doing those things for yourself like this that are healing, you're changing your brain. And you're not going to change it back, but you are changing the synapses and stuff of your brain. So you are changing the neuroplasticity of your brain. So big snaps to you for that. Scott says, I have forgiven others, and I hope others will forgive me. It's really powerful. And big snaps to you as well. Okay. Jake Smith says, when a date night with Kim tonight, it's been a while since we did anything together because of football season. Well, I'm glad that you got to go on that date night and connect with Kim and hopefully have some of that loving energy to build you up, to help you kind of transition. I know that football season can be kind of crazy for some people, but kind of transition into another, joyous season. So big snaps to you. AJ Jewers says, I haven't taken my life yet. Usually yet is the magic word. Yet is what I tell my son a lot when he's saying, I can't do math. I can't figure this out. I can't accomplish this task. I always say that yet is the magic word. You can't do it yet. When I said that, I don't understand statistics. I don't get statistics. It was, I don't get statistics yet. But in this case, I don't want that yet on here because I feel like that keeps the door open for that to be an option. And the fact that you haven't done that, that's your win right there. Like, you haven't done that. That means that you have the strength to stay. You can choose to stay. And when you don't look at that as an option, your only other option becomes, I have to heal, because you can't stay in darkness. You don't deserve to stay there. So when you take that choice away and say, you know what? I'm going to move in the right direction. I'm going to heal. I'm going to do the work, even if it's hard, even if I don't know how, even if I don't know what I'm going to do. Try again, try something new, try asking for help. There's always something else you can try. So you might not have the answer yet. That's where you're allowed to use yet. I forbid you to use yet in this context. You can say, I don't have the answer yet. I don't know how to heal yet. But you're not going to take your life. I believe in you. And I know that, just knowing that, guys, how many here in this chat care if AJ's life goes out? I don't know if their name is actually AJ, but the screen name is AJ Joers. How many people here would care to hear that news of someone in our community? Because every single time I hear about something like that, it breaks me. And I know that you guys feel the same way. So let's show some love so they know, so this person understands that there are people that care. And there are people that will have their back and hold space for them. Let's have their back and hold space for them while they're feeling like this. So that doesn't even become a thought in their mind anymore. See, Amy says, Ryan does, Aaron does, Sean does. So see, there are people that care if your light goes out. You can come here and look at this. Amy, David, there are people that care and that want you to stay, but I want you to want to stay. I want you to know that there is hope. There is another side to that darkness, and that you can just erase the yet, like delete that yet, because there's always a solution, even if we can't see it. There's always a solution. There's always an answer. Head Sick Nation says, me, Rev J's mental health journeys, I care. I agree with Amy. Amy is saying yet minimizes your achievement. Absolutely. Like the achievement, the win here is that you haven't, and you don't have to. So yes. Let's see where we're at. Okay. So we are at 100. So we haven't even hit halfway. So I can smell food being made. So as much as I want to stay for a long time, I don't think I could stay much longer. But again, I really want to hit that goal. I want to hit our goal of 250 for the chat, not only so we can do more outreach, so we can help, but also so little Morgan can get her meds and stuff, and so I can share this part of my heart with someone. Let me say real fast, when I was younger, I would not listen to Lincoln Park with people. I would not share Lincoln Park with people that I did not feel a deep connection with. That was saved for my close friends, my partners. I didn't even share. I don't think I really shared a whole lot with my mom until a little bit later, even though my mom and I were very close. So it was just something that I didn't do. So me sharing this part of my heart, me sharing these lyrics, it's really huge for me. It's a very emotional thing for me. It's a very big step in my journey to be able to share Lincoln Park with you in that way, to be able to share Chester with you in that way. Hugh Lannon says, you have to find one or two things to focus on. For me, it's my parents and my daughter. I don't want them to have to go through hell if I decided to end mine. I can't do that to them. I do think that is one aspect of it, is thinking of, I know that when you're in that dark place, your shadow can distort your thinking and tell you, you know what, these people are better off without you. It's not true. That is a lie. Your shadow is lying to you. And when there is power in thinking about, you know, the people that could be affected, if that is available to you at this time, if your shadow isn't screaming at you, because that's what I was experiencing, was my shadow was saying, your son's better off without you, you're a burden to your friends, just be done. But I also will argue that there is so much power when you realize that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to get to the other side of that darkness. Taking everyone else out of the equation, even though your parents and your daughter, yes, would suffer immensely if something happened to you. But there's also the aspect that you deserve to be happy. You deserve that healing. You deserve to live a fulfilled and joyous life, whatever that looks like. You deserve that. So don't forget that either. David McDonough, is that how you say it? McDonough? Amanda, we love you. I've been seeing a therapist. It's been great. I'm doing better because of you. So I thank you with all my heart. You have saved me. You're an amazing person, and I'll always be thankful. Thank you. You know what? I needed that today, David. I needed to drop in my bucket, and I'm always so incredibly humbled to hear that this channel, you know, this community, my insights of some sort, can be of help to someone. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. I'm really happy that therapy is helping you, that it's helping you move in the right direction. Sean James says, I've been dealing with anxiety, bipolar disorder, depression, and PTSD for 32 years. And the thing that helps me the most is talking to somebody I trust about it. And it can be super difficult to find someone you trust. And I just want to remind you that, you know, I've been through a lot of therapists I don't trust. I've been through people who have weaponized my emotions against me. I've been through people who have betrayed me, who abandoned me, who have treated me like dirt, who've taken advantage of me, who have broken my trust. But there are still people that wouldn't do that. There are still people who care and that can be there for you, that can love you in the way that you need to be loved, that can show up for you in the way that you need. Master Ganges is honestly about to lose it. If I missed a message of what's going on, I'm super sorry. Feel free to share here what is going on. If there's something that's triggering these feelings, we are here to listen. I'm going to try and hold on for another 10, maybe 15 minutes. I'm hoping that we make our goal. I'm hoping that will give you an opportunity to tell us what's going on. Amy says, this is tremendously helpful for me. Good, I'm glad. Steven says, find your anchors to keep you alive. Absolutely. My song with my dad was You're My Best Friend by Don Williams, and it says, you're my anchor in life's ocean is one of the lines in that song. So thinking about that, for me, my parents aren't here, but there are a lot of times where it's, how can I connect with their energy, with their wisdom, with their love, with the things that were important to them? How can I express that and show that to the world? Like, how, even though if my mom and dad aren't here, how can I tap into that energy and share it with you guys? So that is a big driving factor for me. So I think about, my dad in that way still being my anchor. Elise, what's going on? Elise says, hi, I recently lost my friend. Oh my gosh, to suicide. How can I cope and how can I keep her memory alive? I am so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I'm so sorry that your friend felt that there was no other way out. First and foremost, it's going to hurt. And coping is not going to be easy. It's going to hurt because you lost somebody very close to you, again, in an unexpected way. And I've been going through my own grief of unexpected traumatic loss, and it hurts. And we have to understand that it's going to hurt, and the only way to heal is to hurt. And that's something that most people don't understand, because we're conditioned that we constantly have to be happy, that to cope or to heal means feeling happy and feeling better. And right now, that's not going to happen. So the best way to cope is to keep yourself safe. Do what you have to do to keep yourself safe. That is the number one coping thing. If this is a fresh loss, is putting yourself in a situation where you are safe. So if that means removing certain things from your home, do that. If that means having that emergency person on speed dial, do that. Make sure first and foremost that you are safe. So when it comes to honoring people, when it comes to keeping their memory alive, first and foremost, feel free to share a memory of them here in the chat. So that allows us to get to know them in some way. So that's allowing us to connect to their energy in some way. So if you want to share a memory, or you want to share something that made them special, or something that they were very passionate about, feel free to do that here in the chat. I will read that if I see it. If you can use the super chat or super sticker function to make sure that I see it. That highlights a message. But for me, with my parents, there were certain things that they really enjoyed doing, or certain things that they were very passionate about. For my mom, she was really passionate about the elderly. For my dad was a Vietnam veteran, so veterans meant a lot to him. My dad was disabled, so the disabled community meant a lot to him. So those were things that when I could connect and I could in some way help those communities, I felt connected to my parents. My dad always wanted to rescue dogs and stuff, so being able to do fostering, that was another way of honoring my parents. Right now, I've been doing, this is kind of abstract, but I've been doing, I have a Pango Books account and a Poshmark account. And yes, it's been to help with finances and to help with Morgan's vet bills, the little chihuahua that was on here earlier, her vet bills and stuff. But it's also, it turned out to just be this crazy way to connect with my parents, because my mom was a total bookworm and my dad had his own reselling business before that was really a thing. And some of my best memories were going junking and collecting stuff for him to, he'd go to flea markets and resell it, because this was before the internet was super big. But it was just a way in my day-to-day life to connect with them and have these fond memories. My mom and I would go vintage shopping, because we couldn't say thrift shopping. We couldn't say that we were going to thrift stores, because that didn't sound classy, but we would go vintage shopping. So just these little side pet projects that I have that are, they're multifaceted, like I said, they're benefiting the cause, they're benefiting me, they're benefiting Morgan, but they're also allowing me to connect to my parents. And so I think there's the aspect of making sure you're safe and being honest with yourself about what this loss means to you. So when I lost Wendy a couple weeks ago, it was obviously, there's that level of, I lost this companionship, I lost this family member, but there's also this aspect of, there's so many deeper things I lost. Like I lost this comfort when it was, I lost my parents. Like with my mom, there were little things like I lost, actually, I'm going to go with my dad. With my dad could always tell me exactly what I wanted to hear without lying to me. And that is something that not very many people can do. Like not very many people have that skill. So realizing that's what I'm missing. Is there a way I can connect with that in another way? Is there a way that I can, seek out someone with that? So it was really, what is the loss really representing, on the deeper level? That was really helpful to me. Journaling has been immensely helpful to me, in the past couple of weeks. So I have my regular journal. I have a lot of journals right now, but it's been very helpful. So I have my regular journal. I've been journaling to the baby. I sometimes still do burn journals. I have a shadow work journal that I've been working through here and there, where it's just giving different insights and stuff. I have like a happiness journal. So depending on where my needs are in that moment, journaling through and processing some stuff. The shadow work one's been great for the guilt and the shame and the fear and the sadness that I've been going through lately. And I'm just gonna say PTSD because it's been PTSD symptoms. The shadow journal has been very, very helpful, with that. So doing maybe some shadow work, connecting to if there are certain things that she really liked, like movies or songs. If you're at a place where you're able to connect with those, that's really helpful. I wrote letters. I started a memory journal for one, where I wrote down every single little thing I could think about my parents, no matter how mundane I thought it was. Just maybe a little conversation we'd had, or a shirt that was really special to them, just literally anything I could think of, because it helped keep them alive. And it helped me process, because it helped me connect to those moments. Instead of focusing on their death, I was focusing on their life, which really helped me. So a memory journal is huge. Start that as soon as possible. I'd be happy to send you a journal if you would like one, for that purpose. But I think that staying safe, journaling, I would start with a memory journal, but shadow work and stuff is also very helpful, and finding a way to connect with them in something that would be meaningful to them. So be it charity work, be it just having a hobby that makes you feel close to them. I've heard a lot of people say that they had loved ones that were into gardening, and just being able to do that and see the life springing forth, they felt like they were very connected to that person. So I hope that gives some suggestions. Elisa's, my favorite memory of her is when she stayed up all night with me in 2020 when I was suicidal. I would love a journal. Elise, if you'll email me, my email is in the descriptions of my videos. I'd be happy to send you a journal. Oh, Steven says she saved your life. Keep it or dishonor her. I don't like the way that that's worded, but I think that your heart was in the right place, and the sentiment is accurate, that if you want to honor her, live the life that she can't have. I don't know how much you're feeling that weight. I know it's very common when people lose someone that they can feel that weight of, why couldn't I see it? Why couldn't I do something? And it's because they very purposely hide it. As someone who's been in that place, and clearly you have too, that we very purposefully hide it. And she knew under that pain. Think back to the time that you were in that dark place. You knew deep under the pain that she cared about you. And she knew deep under her pain that you cared about her. And she just didn't know another way to get out of her suffering in that moment. But when you can live your life to honor her, when you can say, you lost your battle and that is heartbreaking, that's tragic, but I'm going to live my life to honor the one that you didn't get to have, to remember you, to share your love, to share your wisdom. She deserves that, and so do you. Elise says, I should have known because I saw warning signs. I just didn't do anything. Does that mean I'm partly responsible? Absolutely not. First and foremost, the warning signs, even if we see them, it doesn't mean we know what to do. I've seen warning signs in people before, and as much as I care about them, or I try in some way, even like I've been there. I have a literal degree in psychology, but it gets to the point where sometimes you just either you freeze, or you don't know which direction to go, or you don't know what would be best for them in that moment, because everything is different. right? Like everyone is different. Everyone's going to need something different in that moment. So even if you saw the signs and you weren't able to take action in that moment, it's not your fault, because you don't even know if the action that you would have taken would have changed the outcome. First and foremost, you don't know if that would have done anything, if that would have changed the outcome. So I think that having grace for yourself, that you loved her and she knew that. And clearly she knew that you were there for her because she was opening up to you. And just because you didn't know the right things to say in that moment doesn't make it your fault. No. Amy says, I keep trying to type my email and it won't show up. Just email me, because it might not show up here in the comments. So if you email me, my email is in the video description. I can communicate with you that way. And let me make a note for the journal for Elise. So when I get that. Her family is not willing to bury her, so I'm going to be the only one going to her funeral. But you know what? That's beautiful. That's a person that is showing up for her. That's someone that loved her showing up for her. And that matters. Like, you matter. And if there's something we can do on that day to honor her, please let us know if there's something we can do. I'm just, ironically, Scott, I'm not a people person either. Master Ganja. Trying to keep up with the messages today is really hard. I'm sorry. Master Ganja says, my grandfather spent 20 years Navy. I only did 10 years. Pisses me off. I feel like I let him down. Do you think that your grandfather would say you only spent 10 years? If you were sitting here having a conversation with your grandfather, do you honestly think that he would say you only spent 10 years instead of 20? Or do you think that he would see the value in the 10 years that you did spend? Because I don't think that the voice that you're hearing is your grandfather's. I think the voice you're hearing is your shadow. And I think that acknowledging that you did honor your grandfather immensely by doing that, by sacrificing for us. Thank you for that, by the way, for sacrificing for me and for everyone else in here. You sacrificed for him too. And if I was your grandma, which I'm not old enough to be a grandma, I'm not, even though they're saying I'm geriatric, I'm not old enough to be a grandma, but I know that your grandfather would not say that you only did 10 years. That's your shadow talking. Elise says she's being buried tomorrow at 10 a.m. Just keep her in your thoughts. Her name was Olivia Reese. Challenge yourself to continue and not give up. Okay, I'm going to write that down so I can genuinely light a candle and reflect. I will light a candle tomorrow morning for Olivia and hold space for her and you as you get through this time. And yeah, you are going to be a total mess, and that's totally human. It's totally normal. Yes, T, you did miss the stream, but we did read both of your wins, so you can go back and watch that. So I'm going to have to get off of here. We didn't meet our goal. We didn't even get halfway to our goal. That's surprising. We were really on a roll there. I honestly thought we were going to exceed it. Definitely thought we were going to hit it. So I guess we'll just have to save this for 2 weeks for next time and see if we hit it next time. Amy says, would you mind passing my email on to Rev for me? All three of you are going to have to email me, Rev and Amy. Elise says, I'm emailing you now. Great. So Amy and Rev, if you guys email me, then I can connect you to. But unless you email me, I can't see emails and stuff in the stream. Oh, 10 a.m. Where, Elise? I'm in the UK. Yeah, there are people all over the world. I guess that would be helpful, right? I guess that would be useful to know what time zone you're on. I swear, I'm a 4.0 student. Like, I'm not a as crazy as my brain is making me think I am right now, or making you think I am more appropriately right now. Aaron says, Morgan. Morgan's up here. You can come get Morgan. Sean says, Ganja, you served your country proudly. Your grandfather would have been proud of you. Yes, I agree. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I'm grateful for your service and your sacrifice. Okay, so Elise is on Central Time. Cool. I just have this whole thing of notes here right now. Okay, Elise, thank you. I will make sure to get that to you. I keep saying I have to go, but then I keep saying I don't want to not meet our goal. I don't want to not meet our pledge goal. So I'm trying to hold on, and I'm just pretty sure that Aaron's going to start yelling at me or come up here and throw food at me or kidnap poor Morgan, and I'm just going to be all alone in the office. And I'm trying to just hold out one more second. Oh, Elise, we have a goal to raise $250 for each stream. We've raised $100 so far, and that goes toward the mental health outreach. Like, part of that is going to go towards sending your journal. So it's just ways that we can help people and support each other in the mental health realm. So people that are wanting to make pledges can either use the super chat or super sticker function, or they can use Venmo or PayPal, and I'll see the notifications for that as well. During the time, Jesus, what to expect? I don't know how many ladies we have in here and how many of them have been pregnant, and of those that have been pregnant, how many use What to Expect. But in the time that I've been in this stream, I've got 3 freaking emails from What to Expect. Like, over attached girlfriend much? Jeez Louise. That's nuts. I think I'm gonna unsubscribe. I have the app so I can check. We check every Monday of what fruit or vegetable she is. But I spam drives me nuts. Clutter drives me nuts. So sorry for the side rant, but I'm just Oh, thank you so much, Elise. If you need that information, it's in the video description. So if you go to this video after it goes live or one of our previous lives, then you'll see the Venmo and stuff. Oh, Steven says making a donation using super chat or super sticker. The $ at the side. Are you saying you're making a donation, or are you explaining how to? Because if you're making one, I will wait a moment so it doesn't cut you off. Oh, thank you, David. There's the Venmo. Thank you. Master Ganja says, I should have been stronger. You know, actually, let me share this. My dad ended up getting discharged for medical reasons. And I know he struggled with a lot of that as well. But my dad was one of the strongest people that you would have ever known. And I never, ever, ever for a single second looked at my dad and said, you didn't do enough. I said, wow, you went through things that I could never go through. You're definitely stronger than I am. And I seriously looked up to my dad as my hero. I still do. I still, as I said, try to live in ways that would make him proud. And sometimes I do get hard on myself about he'd be so disappointed. But then I think that's not him talking. And if I was sitting right in front of him right now, that's not what he would say. Steven says I can always do PayPal. Yeah, David, can you drop the PayPal in here? It's pixieyogi@yahoo.com is the PayPal. Or yeah, the PayPal. So I see a few people that are trying right now, so I'm just trying to hold on so I can make sure that if we're gonna hit it, we're gonna hit it. And then I will have to do the drawing. So if we do hit it, I'll have to do the drawing. So I have my thing open here for PayPal, so I'll see it if anything comes through, or Venmo. Steven said I worked in ultrasound for 36 years, awful lot, maternity related. That's cool. Master Ganja says I should be proud of my Purple Hearts and Silver Star, but I'm ashamed. I think there's a lot of people in here, myself included, who are proud of you. The YouTube channel says, what will you draw? Oh, if we hit the pledge, anybody that had donated 25, did I say 25? 25 or more is entered to win the Lincoln Park thing, and I will sign it. So that was what the drawing was for. It's Lincoln Park lyrics. I had designed this and made this myself. It's been hanging in my office for a really, really long time, but I wanted to share it. So if we hit the pledge goal, I will be sharing that with someone. I'll sign it and I'll share it here in the community. I need a personal assistant too, Amy. Absolutely. Elise says my Venmo isn't letting me send money and I have it in my account. Odd, weird. I could request, I think, but I don't know your Venmo. If I knew yours, I could request. If you want to drop yours, I can request it and see if that helps. But Steven says, please exclude me from the draw. Oh. DUG is not drawing. Thought you will be drawing a bird or tree or something. Actually, fun story. I'll give you guys a second to try and sort that out. So on my Poshmark, I was selling some stuff, and one of them was Breaking Bad related. I'm really big on showing appreciation to people and to kind of going that extra mile for people that support me and stuff. And I had drawn this because it was Breaking Bad related. So I had drawn that for somebody the other day. I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but I can draw stuff that's more animated and stuff. So that's about what I got. Oh gosh. T. Montgomery says, so wait, if Amanda is geriatric, does that make New Kids golden oldies? So New Kids were a little bit before my time. Mine was NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. But there's a video, it's called The Boys in the Band, and it's New Kids on the Block, but Lance Bass from NSYNC is the teacher in it. But they come in with their gray hair and stuff on their little walkers, and it's hilarious. Yes, that is Heisenberg. Oh, I think I missed something from Elise here. I'm going to start a nonprofit. I've just decided I want to do a suicide awareness charity to honor my friend, the one I told you all about. That's so beautiful. And if you need any help on knowing how to start a charity, if you want kind of a little insight on starting a 501c3, which is an official charity, let me know and I can get you some information on that. That's a beautiful way to honor her memory. Okay, so I do have to get going. I'm actually really hungry. Baby's hungry, so I do have to get going. I can smell the dinner is ready, and I can hear Aaron pacing downstairs. So if you are watching this at a later time, or if you do figure that out, Elise, if you want to email me your Venmo, I can always request and stuff. So if you are wanting to contribute, you know what? I'm going to keep this open till what's today? Today's the 19th. So I'm going to keep this open until tomorrow at 8 p.m. Arizona time. Can I write that down? Because I know I will forget it. If we do, because it seems like some people are having some issues and I don't want tech issues to get in the way. If we do end up reaching it, I will post over in the community, post who the winner of the drawing is, and we'll get that out to them promptly. So if you want to use Venmo or PayPal, if you're watching this later, or if it's just not working for you right now, maybe there's some kind of glitch with the system, apparently, because several people are having the same problem, then you can do that. I'll do the drawing at 8 p.m. if we reach that 250, which I will keep you updated in the community. But thank you guys so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I am so proud of all of you. You are having so many wins, and it's amazing. And thank you for putting a couple drops in my bucket today. I don't think I need more water because I've had to pee for about half an hour. But I definitely need drops in my bucket. So I love you guys, and I will see you soon. And I'm glad that we were all able to be here and hold space for each other. At least I will look out for your email. But I'm glad that we were all able to hold space and be here for each other today. I will see you soon. Mwah.